What is going on, everyone? We are back in LA, back in our normal groove, jet lagged like no other, but I've always found that traveling to Asia resets my sleeping schedule in a positive way. So getting really tired throughout the day, pushing through it, and by 9 p.m. I'm zonked. But yesterday we landed at 2 p.m. A bit hard to get super tired, but nonetheless, we went to bed around 1 a.m., woke up at 5, and so I'm expecting to crash at some point soon. We're going to power through it and make sure that we stay awake so that we're not up all night. Really great to be back, spend some time with my family, friends. This morning we got an early morning workout, played some tennis. It was a really interesting experience, having played so much paddle back in Bali. The courts in paddle are much smaller. You're using a smaller racket and the ball is like not as bouncy. So it took a bit of adjustment, but we got back into it. Really excited to hopefully play as much tennis as I can while I'm in LA. Tennis is such an interesting sport. I have so much respect for it being a single sport. You know, you can't rely on your team members. There's so much mental discipline required. It's physically demanding. And yeah, excited to see how it's starting to gain popularity as kind of the next gen is creating a bit more character with the sport. For me personally, growing up, I had a friend that, played professionally. And anytime we would play, he would play me with his left hand. And because we were hyper competitive in everything else, minus tennis, I committed to really getting good enough so that we would at least be able to play with his right hand. And so that's my backstory with tennis. It's now become one of my favorite forms of cardio, movement, exercise. And one tip I have and really preach is find activities that don't feel like working out to really adopt a healthy lifestyle. So I could be playing tennis for an hour, 2 hours, and I will just kind of lose myself in the sport, really be, locked in and not have to exert both mental and physical energy and feel really good thereafter. Whereas, even weightlifting or running requires a bit of, mental energy to really make sure we're partaking in those sports consistently. So find activities you enjoy, find things that don't feel like work when it comes to your fitness, when it comes to your work, if possible. And yeah, the best workout is the one that you can maintain. It's not resistance training, it's not cardio. I mean, yes, there's science behind why resistance training is great. Yes, there's tons of studies out there that really support resistance training. You'll find equal amounts of research that supports all other forms of exercise. But at the end of the day, the best workout is the one that you look forward to and that you can maintain. We are headed to West LA right now to get our second workout of the day in. We are very hungry. However, I've really started to adopt a different relationship with hunger. When we are full, our body is working to digest our foods. That's why when we have a big meal, we feel very tired. It's very energy consuming to digest food. And so having an appreciation that when you have nothing in your system, you're detoxing your body, you're cleansing your body, and it's allowing your body to repair itself. So with that new mindset, I'm appreciating being hungry. And so we're testing this out a little bit. A little coffee helps as well to help curb some of the hunger. That's a very long-winded way of saying there are tons of benefits associated with fasting. I typically adopt a 16 to 8 window where I don't necessarily eat breakfast in the morning and try to confine my eating window to 8 hours. Probably the most practical benefit of not eating is that when you eat, you are spiking your insulin, and that has a lot to do with your blood sugar levels, and keeping your blood sugar levels steady is one of the best ways to age properly, to maintain a healthy weight. And contrary to what I think a lot of people have shared, or at least some of the research that has been shared with me on small meals throughout the day, I mean, yes, this revs your metabolism, but it also spikes your blood sugar levels. Trial and error, find what works for you. It's also really nice to be in LA, not commuting behind a motorbike. Having a car, I think that's something you really need in Los Angeles. I actually will be going to New York in a week, where it's actually quite the opposite. Nobody has a car. You walk everywhere, or you take a cab, or you ride the subway. I mean, I personally got my phone stolen back a few months back, being pickpocketed, which was such an interesting experience, because when this was reported, my understanding is that the city doesn't want to have so many instances of crime, and so I basically went back and forth with the detective stating that because I didn't physically see my phone being stolen, however, I knew when and where and had awareness that it was in my back pocket, that it was a lost phone, which was bananas. I mean, it just, yeah. So that was quite an interesting experience. But the takeaway here is you can never be too safe. Be mindful of your belongings. Anyways, so we're grateful that the weather is good. The weather is usually always good. We're grateful of this traffic because it allows me to record and talk to you all. And yeah, I've been really appreciating gratitude and kind of the energy and state of mind it's putting me in, and not necessarily always seeking to be happy per se, but appreciating life for the adversity, the joy, the relation, everything about life. And yeah, what I've been really mindful of is kind of different perspectives on what it means to be happy. And the key themes are progress. You know, we can achieve our goals and kind of the next so what, and really putting micro progress in place, celebrating our wins so that we continue to maintain positive momentum, and ultimately being in service of something greater than oneself, I think is really a beautiful thing. And if you can really find something that you genuinely enjoy doing and to be able to serve others in that capacity, I think is, you know, really a blessing. And I hope to really bring wellness, fitness, and be kind of someone with influence in this field, because I feel that there's so much misinformation out there. I mean, for me personally, I'll be the first to admit that, you know, algorithmically, there are so many benefits to purporting, you know, how to get six-pack abs fast and, you know, these kind of quick schemes. We have to really establish discipline, putting in the work, and it being kind of a lifelong journey. And unfortunately, that's really not so easily marketable. I think we should always just be aware that we are incentivized to share the message that gets rewarded. So the takeaway I have is really take everything you hear on the internet with a grain of salt and apply it in your own life, and make sure that you are really challenging and not just accepting everything someone says, because there's so many considerations. We're genetically so different, you know, our environments are very different, our bodies are so unique. So I personally believe there is no best diet, best workout. You really got to do the things that serve you. Okay, with that, we're gonna keep on trekking along. I'm gonna put on a podcast, and I will see you at the gym. Peace.